Oh, hi there. It's Michael Ingenito, host and editor of the Russell Union Show. And we're back with the Russell Union Show. This week, we're going to take a little bit of a left turn from things that we normally do, and we're going to talk to you guys about voting. Yes, voting, the most fun thing you could possibly do. But we need to make sure that you know why your vote matters. And we're going to ask students around campus to see if they're registered to vote, if they know how, and why voting is important for students. And we should be able to have an interview with one of the official student engagement directors to talk about why voting is so important for students on campus. Excuse me, I have a question for all of you guys. Are you all registered to vote? You are? Thumbs up, registered to vote? Awesome, remember, share your voice. November 3rd. Are you guys registered to vote?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So why do you guys think that voting is so important for us as college students?
Yeah. I think now, especially with the world being in the state it is now, I mean, as college students, we have such an impact being young voters to influence others on our campus and kind of convince them that voting is really the only way that we can spark change in politics and in the world.
What do you guys have to say to people that either don't know how to vote or are choosing not to vote? What would you guys kind of say to push them to go like, hey, you need to go out and vote?
Kind of just like open your eyes to what's happening right now. If you want things to change, you need to go out and vote, or you need to just educate yourself. Like, it's very easy. You can look it up. You can talk to people. A lot of people are really willing to have the conversation, so it's just kind of like if you want to, really.
Excuse me, sir. Just had a question for you. Are you registered to vote? You are registered to vote?
I am.
Awesome, fantastic. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. Are you registered to vote? Awesome, cool. Make sure November 3rd. November 3rd, that's when we're voting. Appreciate you guys. Excuse me, I have a question. Are either of you registered to vote?
Oh, yeah.
All right, fantastic. Remember, November 3rd, the election. Please
Absolutely.
come out and vote. Share your voice. How are you guys doing today? Good, good. So we're out here just asking students and people around campus, first off, if you're registered to vote, and second off, if you are, why you think that voting is an important thing for us as college students to partake in.
All right.
So,
Well, that's one of the reasons why we're here. We're actually here to get people registered to vote.
fantastic.
And yes, voting is important because your vote is your voice. But one of the things that we forget to take into consideration as citizens is that we're not just voting for the president. There are other elections that follow the presidency that we also need to be aware of. So you have to also know, what's your state senator doing? What is your state House of Representatives doing? What is your state government going into? So you have to be aware of that as well, especially for everybody that wants to make a change, or for those of us who could be less concerned.
What would you guys say to somebody who is on the fence about voting or currently not thinking about voting right now? What would you say to kind of push them in that kind of direction?
Okay, well, hi, my name is Monique Edwards. I'm a sophomore here at Georgia Southern. I'm majoring in criminal justice, aka criminology. And basically, I would just say, like, voting is like your duty in a way. And if you want to impact the world, you want to change the world, I feel as though voting is like your first step, like the basic thing that you can do to change the world. So yeah, vote because you want your community to change.
My name is Jocelyn Jones. I'm an exercise science major here. I'm a senior. And yes, I'm registered to vote. And I believe it is important because as college students, times are changing. We're about to be in the real world. So after college, our voice really matters. And I feel like people treat voting as a choice when really it is a right and we should exercise that. And I always tell people that you not voting is basically voting for the other side. So do your research, know what you want in your life, and go vote. It's as simple as that.
So you guys are out here right now actually tabling to get people aware of voting and registered to vote. So can you guys explain just what's going on with the table today?
So generally what's going on is we'll reach out to people as they pass by to make sure that they are registered to vote. And then if they say that they are, and they'll be here during the election and aren't doing the mail-in vote option, we actually get you registered to vote here in Bullitt County so that you can actually still vote without having to travel all the way back home, wherever that may be.
Yeah.
It's a very simple process. You actually do most of this application on your own. All I have to do is make it known that you're either registering or you're making sure that you are still registered. So.
Well, hi. We're also basically a part of the MAP program, which is the Minority Advisement program. And yeah, you guys want to talk about it a little bit about what it is?
Okay, so basically the MAP program, the Minority Advisement Program, is any freshman or a transfer student here can apply to be a MAP-B, and they are and each MAP mentor, okay, that was bad. MAP mentors are sophomores, juniors, and seniors, and under each mentor are 2 MAP-Bs. Currently, we don't have enough MAP-Bs to do 2 per mentor. I only have 1. But basically, you just guide them through Georgia Southern if they have any questions or if they need to find somewhere to find the financial aid office. You can call on us if you need help finding health services or you need tutoring, anything like that. Hit your mentor up because we are here for you. We are here to guide you and make sure you have the best experience here at Georgia Southern.
Are you registered to vote? So we're here actually with Mrs. Jody Kennedy, who's the director of the Office of Leadership and Community Engagement, and we're going to talk to her about things about student voting and the importance of voting. So, hey, how's it going?
How are you today?
I'm doing super swell. So, can you firstly explain just sort of like your title and what your role is here on campus with the Office of Community Engagement and Leadership?
Yeah, so our office works to help students promote positive change, whether that be through their leadership or through their role in the community. And so our office has taken what's the best way to say that? Our office has taken a role in promoting voter registration on campus as well as other departments within student engagement. So we've worked really closely with the Dean of Students Office, with the Office of Multicultural Affairs, with the Office of Student Activities, and the Russell Union staff to not only organize early voting on campus, but also to promote voter registration to our students and campus population.
Oh, fantastic. And yeah, our topic today, of course, is on voting. So, for students, what do you think is so important about the actual right to vote? What do you think is something that should propel students to actually want to go out and vote? What is something that you think that they should do?
I think voting is an opportunity for students to have a part not only in the democratic process, but to also be able to share their voice and concern for what's happening in our local community and our national government. And so voting is an opportunity for students to really take a chance to educate themselves on the issues and on the individuals who are running for office and have a say in what happens in our country. So I think it's a really important process for everyone to take a part in, but especially for students since they have such a different approach to some issues and they really have an opportunity to have an impact on the elections.
What do you think COVID has done to impact the way that we're actually running this election and the way that people are able to go out and register to vote?
Yeah, I think there's a lot more emphasis on the absentee process. I think there's some folks who might not want to risk exposure by actually going to a polling location, although I know that polling locations are also putting different things into place to where, they might be distributing gloves to use on voting machines. They might have some type of mask, encouraging masks to be worn, things like that. But I also feel like the absentee process we might see more votes coming in that way. And that's a new piece of education too, is like how to request an absentee ballot and when it needs to be in by, and there are processes where absentee ballots can actually be dropped off at election offices in certain counties. And so that's a whole nother piece that we've tried to take a proactive approach on, educating students on how to participate that way.
With with the introduction of, well, not really the introduction, but the more prominence of the absentee ballot, especially for this year with COVID, are there any other ways that you can educate students on how to vote as well besides doing the absentee ballot and doing in-person polling? Are there other options as well that students can do to vote as well?
Those are the only two options that I'm really familiar with. And so obviously right now our focus is on getting students to register to vote. So the deadline to register to vote is October 5th, which is Monday. And so it's a process that students can take place or participate in online. And so we're really trying to just get students registered, and then starting next week we'll really start the education piece on what it looks like and what it means to vote. But I think the absentee ballot and voting in person are really the two ways that we vote in our country.
What are other things that we have on campus, whether in person or online, that can help students like figure out about their status on voting or how to educate themselves more about voting?
Yeah, so the university has created an awesome resource in the georgiasouthern.edu/Eagles Vote website. And on that website, students will find all of the information they need to register to vote, to check their status, so to determine which county they're actually registered to vote in, if they need to change their address, if they need to find their polling location. There's also a link to campus programming that's happening around voting. And so actually tomorrow, our office and the university libraries and the Office of Multicultural Affairs is hosting the John Lewis documentary on Sweetheart Circle on the Statesboro campus and the Burnett Lawn on the Armstrong campus. So there's also going to be a voter registration drive around that event as well. So if students need to register to vote, that's one event that they can go out to and do. But all of our other campus programming opportunities are on that website as well.
Fantastic. With voting coming in, I know you said talking about the changing of the address. A lot of students are not in like the city that they were born in or the city that they currently like permanently reside in. So getting registered to vote in Bullitt County, do you know if there are ways that students will be able to vote in Bullitt County coming up and even earlier than that? Do you know of any ways like that?
Yeah, so early voting, the process is supposed to start around October 12th, just depending on the county itself. But on campus, early voting will be hosted October 20th, 21st, and 22nd. Students do need to be registered in Bullitt County to early vote on campus, so that's where I'd really encourage people to check their status, and if they need to change their address to their residence hall address or to their local Statesboro address, they can do that. On the Eagles Vote website is actually all of the physical addresses for the residence halls as well, so if folks are living in the residence halls and they can change their address to that. But they just need to bring their ID and come to the Russell Union on those dates, October 20th, 21st, and 22nd, and they can vote on campus.
Fantastic. Will those, just for clarification, will those be in the ballroom?
Yeah,
so
the Russell Union Ballroom. Mm-hmm. Okay. The Russell Union Ballroom is where we'll host early voting. It's from 8 to 5. For those days, and anybody in the Statesboro community can actually come and vote. We're our polling location for those 3 days.
Very cool. Let's see. Is there anything else we could talk about?
I don't know if you want in regards to us being a polling location on the 20th, 21st, and 22nd, there'll be campus notifications going out about that, but just like any other polling site, you can't campaign or anything within 150 feet of the Russell Union on those days, and so that's something that students may want to know is if they have a class in the Union or they just want to go to Chick-fil-A, they can't be wearing any type of campaign t-shirts or buttons or hats or anything like that on those 3 days.
Will they get like kicked out or something like that?
There will be people monitoring the doors just to make sure, because we do have to stay in line with the elections protocol and things like that. But the only other thing I would encourage students is that if they do change their address to Bullitt County, is to actually research the ballot that's happening in Bullitt County. So they might be more familiar with their home county and some of the positions that are up for election or the propositions who may be on the ballot, and they might not be as familiar with what's happening in Bullitt County. So the best vote is an educated vote. And so to take a minute and see what they're actually voting on. It's not just the presidential election. It's not just that position, but there's a lot of other things going on as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having us out, and you've been very, very awesome at educating us more about how to vote. And I'm sure that this will give students a better understanding of how to vote and how to educate themselves to vote. So thank you so much for that. Excuse me real quick, I have a question for you guys. Are you registered to vote?
Yep.
Yeah.
You are registered to vote. All right, remember, November 3rd, the election. And if you want to figure out more about that, go to eaglesvote.com, and you'll be able to see your voter registration and your address and everything. All right?
Get it up.
All right, cool. Appreciate it. Is that Dr. Pepper? What is that?
Coke.
Coke?
It kind of tastes like medicine and like.
Yeah, I know. I haven't had Coke in so long. All right. Well, it's been a great day talking about voting and everything. Thank you so much to Mrs. Jody Kennedy and all the other students and student organizations that got to talk to us and educate us more about voting and everything. So remember, guys, know where you can vote, know your options, stay educated, and remember, this is your right. Exercise it to the best of your ability. Make an educated vote is better than no vote, all right? I'm Michael Ingenito. My ankle. And I approve this message.